the rest of us who are just kind of exercising, just got to have the proper diet and water, okay? Drinking those drinks, we're just creating urine that's going to have a lot of salt.
What is like Red Bull and like those kind of like what are they used for?
Now, depending on which ones you're looking at, and depending on like the thing that just drives me crazy, my husband drinks the monster drinks. Okay? I'm just going, seriously, honey? Do you realize what you're doing to your body? Anything? Any idea at all? Don't matter. Okay. Some of it's going to be based on caffeine. Some of it's going to be based on sugars. Some of it will be based on proteins. Okay? Personally, I don't think any of them are good for you. But that's just me. Okay? Gatorades, Powerades, all these other aids that are out there. If you're a professional football player, Olympian athlete, you need them. Probably pro basketball, okay, and probably pro soccer. Any of those that requires a huge amount of energy and the sweat and everything else, those Powerades, Gatorades, and everything are great, okay? But otherwise, we don't really need those, okay? And sometimes it'll go out in the urine, sometimes not, okay? Is anybody out there?
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Sorry. No, let's
But it's just, so you know, I kind of come to the
Oh, I didn't see that first. That's the only thing I know. That's like thinking it's my first alarm, and I like go off. I was like, turn it off the last alarm. I just felt like oh, I didn't see. I didn't know that he showed up. I know. Thank you.
Okay, so, yeah, so in thinking about those, I just don't, yeah. Oh, she's got one. Oh, actually, let's take a peek at it. Can I take a peek at it? All right. So this would be like the regular one, not the light one, right?
They got a light one.
Yep.
Okay, now listen to the ingredients. Okay, yeah, we got one. Sugar. Now, I'm gonna say that that's gonna tell me like table sugar, which is my favorite. Dextrose, sugar.
That's another combination.
All right, got the citric acid for flavor, some natural flavor. Salt, they're not telling me what kind, okay, so I don't know, but there, and then they go sodium citrate, which would be another type of salt, monopotassium phosphate, salt, gum arabic, I have no idea, glycerol ester of raisin, rosin, blue number 1 and red number 40. Sugar, salt. And they don't tell me. Altogether, the sodium, which now they say salt, they say sodium citrate, 270 milligrams. They're telling me under the potassium, now is that coming from the salt or is that coming from this monopotassium phosphate, which is 75 milligrams. Carbs, 36 grams. Woo!
It's like normal.
Sure, yeah, David.
I'm going to say that 36 grams exceeds it.
It's like double almost. I think 20 is like what you're supposed to have in a day.
Well, it depends on.
I think it would depend on your energy level.
Yeah.
Do you exercise? Do you do
My mom does.
So,
She said, no, my mom does. Like, what?
yeah. And then, so when you look at the ones at like Red Bull, Monster, you're going to see different words like that, and you're going to also see caffeine, that sort of thing.
The waters would be fine though for like a person with normal activity, like the smart waters and the other ones that are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's gonna
Because
be
their
that
levels
overwhelmed.
should, I haven't looked at them, but their levels should be minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in reality, all right, you know how now when you go to the grocery store and you see that aisle where you have all of your salts and peppers and spices and all that sort of stuff, okay? Now, when I was growing up, there was the one. It was Morton salt, the girl, you know, carrying an umbrella. All right. Now you go to get salt and you're going,
It's like weird.
what? Huh? What? Huh? What? I do too. I use the Himalayan. But if you'll note, one of the things it has on there, not a significant source of iodine,
Yeah.
which is something we need. All right. So in reality, that little Morton salt, okay, I used to love to flip the little top on it, okay.
They have one though that has iodine.
They have one that's iodized and then one that's not, okay, because technically I heard somebody refer to the American diet, the standard American diet. Sad. Because it is. Our standard American diet is horrible, okay? But in all reality, that little Morton salt with the little girl with the umbrella, if you take just a little bit right there in like the cup of your hand, that's all you need for the day. Of any type of salt you need. Salt plus the iodine. That's it. You don't need any more than that. But that's probably hardly nothing. But like 75 milligrams, that's not 75 milligrams of it. Just saying. Nate?
They say that if you with exercise, if you have like for people who have diabetes, exercise helps lower your blood glucose levels for like 48 hours with moderate to intense.
Okay, I was going to say what kind of exercise. So like
Yeah,
moderate.
moderate to intense. So like a lot of like with sugars and stuff like that, like I typically like would eat it before and try not to eat it after because you're gonna end up using it for energy for.
And I do know that they say that at what time you consume it and what time you use it are important. That
Yeah.
sort of thing too. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and glucose itself, okay, it is important to the cells. We can't consume too much, okay? We store it. You know, it's just when it gets stored into fat cells. But anyway, and you know, salt. Now, one of the things about the salts, it's not that we really store them, okay? Because salts that we take in, okay, the body can use them. We can return them to the body to keep being used, okay? And then, yes, they can go out through the urine. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, okay? It just might be that at that point in time for your body, you just didn't use all the salts that were available. Because the thing about the salts, because they're so important to muscle, the nerve conduction and so forth, all right, the body's going to want to control their amounts. And one of the ways that they're going to control it is through forming the urine and whether we urinate it out or not. Now, if we have a material left behind in the bloodstream, okay, because anything that got moved across that cell or through those cells, that's going to get reabsorbed into the bloodstream. So anything that might be left behind in the bloodstream at this area, it can come back to the filtrate. All right? But when I say stuff that might come back, your urea, for example, the uric acid, ammonia, stuff that will be wastes that we will want to go into the urine and excrete it out of the body. So the tubular secretion is where oops, that should say renal. I left out an N, okay? The renal tube will send it to capillary. Capillaries can send it back to the tubular fluid. I think I'm tired too. So at this PCT, because one of the things that will move are the H pluses, and remember, H pluses contribute to pH, okay? So we can move H pluses. That will help with acid-base balance in the body at the level of the PCT. We can extract wastes from the blood, such as our urea, uric acid, and so forth. And then other things that can happen at the PCT, we can clear drugs and contaminants. And a big one, of course, is medications. One of the reasons that so many medications can show up like in water treatment plants and so forth, okay? Because when we're given a medicine, when we're given a vitamin, whatever the case might be, they're in high amounts because we know the body's going to work to get rid of it. So you might have a pill that you take that's 500 milligrams, and the body might only absorb 100. 400 is going to go away because it's going to try to get rid of it because it sees it as a waste. So now, whatever's left behind at the PCT, in the filtrate, because we're still filtrate, that now moves to the nephron loop. In the nephron loop structure, we're going to have our descending limb, the loop of Henle, the ascending limb, okay? And once again, we have those thick segments. See how they're kind of showing the thick segments? And then the thin, all right? Once again, cellular structure becomes important. We're going to find that we have cuboidal, but this time without microvilli, okay? We have our simple squamous, the ones that look like the fried eggs, all right? So the material, that 35% that was left behind after the PCT, the 35% now begins to make its way through this loop, okay? Where I'm going to see a descending limb loop and an ascending limb. We have the two types of nephrons. Do you remember how with the cortical, the 85%, only a small portion dipped into the medulla area, but the juxtamedullary dipped very far into the medulla? They're making up 15% of our nephrons. Now, in that 15% that dip deeply into the medulla, into those little renal pyramid things, okay? Note movement of what's getting moved. At this point, where I have these loops, what do you kind of see a whole lot of? Look to this left side and the green letters and everything. Urea. If you remember, urea, nitrogenous waste from the chemical reactions of the body. And then